declare this sitting open. The topic before the house is very simple. Is one dean, one faculty, the relevant model towards transformation in our institution? We have the Faculty of Education, which is affirming, and the Faculty of Agriculture, Science and Technology, which is opposing. And here I will briefly run through the rules. We are going to have speakers from both of our teams, 5 to 10 minutes to introduce the topic and to introduce the assignment. 5 to 10 minutes. And we are going to have other speakers who will now engage and so forth. I think our directors were well aware. Then point of orders and point of clarification and point of information, they are allowed. One per speaker. Is there a problem? What is the problem? What is the problem? Point of information from the debaters is allowed once. Each speaker has an opportunity to raise a point of clarification once. Then if you are done, you are done. Is that clear?
No, it's not clear. Are you allowed to do those point of orders only when one speaker presents all
in the introduction? Okay, in the introduction we don't have point of information, but from the body and body. And we are going to open for questions from the floor. The floor will get a chance to criticize, comment, and to question. And our debating teams will then respond. I will now call the speaker from the Faculty of Education to come and start. Thank you. Okay, I'm reminded by something important. We are asked to put our phones on silent, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, timekeeper, program director, honorable adjudicators, fellow opponents, and the house at large, please be greeted. I am Minister Mubai, the first speaker from the affirmative side. We are introducing the education faculty. And ladies and gentlemen, as the first speaker, it is indeed my duty to define the motion, give the house at large clarity on what the motion is about, bring the house to an understanding of what we actually get at in today. And my second speaker, who goes by the name of Zenisi Mwabe, will be focusing on equity, which she will be talking about management, value of the qualification, distribution of resources, and administration. And my third speaker, who goes by the name of Masibuko Fusmuzi, will be based on rebuttals. And my fourth speaker, who goes by the name of Kauhan of Longwane, will be based on rebuttals, summarize our whole team argument, and firmly give an emphasis on why we truly agree with the motion. The motion today, ladies and gentlemen, is as follows. Is one dean, one faculty model a relevant step towards transformation in our institution? And ladies and gentlemen, when we refer to institution, we don't only mean Mafikeng campus, but we mean that Northwest University, which is formed by the Potchefstroom campus, Mafikeng campus, and the VAR campus. And in our motion, we should put our focus on transformation. This is what transformation means. It is a process of profound and radical change that orientates an organization or institution in a new direction. And it takes it to an entirely different level of effectiveness, which implies incremental progress of the same plane. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow teammates and I firmly stand on the ground and agree with the motion that indeed this will bring transformation into our institution. On 4 May 2015, Professor
Dictionary, second edition. Relevant. Being relevant means being closely connected or appropriate to a matter at hand. Transformation, a marked change in form, nature, or appearance. Model, by definition, is a thing used as an example to follow or imitate. Now let me take you back. The NWU, or the Northwest University, was merged in 2012 January 1st. And this marks 12 years today. Now with the merger came in the mission and vision of the university as a whole, and a list of strategies that the university had to transform our institution as a whole. And my subsequent speakers will give mention to those. Now, ladies and gentlemen, transformation has been anticipated or awaited for 12 years. Now, with those 12 years, we cannot be having a setback such as one dean, one faculty model as forming part of our strategies. We cannot. It's been 12 years too long. Hence, the opposition says the one dean, one faculty model is not a relevant step towards transformation. Now, with this brief history given, ladies and gentlemen, we in the opposition, we are not opposing transformation, but rather this model, which simply means that our students, we already have distant relationships with our current students. Now, if this model is introduced, we are taking approximately 100 kilometers that could be added, further separating the students from their deans. Ladies and gentlemen, is this relevant? Never. It is not. Now, my second speaker will be addressing points on the financial implications that this model can bring, how work ethics could be compromised in pertaining to this model, and give emphasis on how the positions of the current deans could be in question. She will also be giving a few outlines on the university's expectations from the deans, pointing out exactly how doubling, or better yet, tripling their workload is such an irrelevant step towards our transformation. My third speaker will emphasize on the points that my second speaker has given and give recommendations. My fourth speaker will conclude and give rebuttals, and again pointing out how this model is such a setback towards the transformation of our institution. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I appeal to the House? There's a mistake that I committed as a program director. I didn't introduce our judges. I sincerely apologize. We have Professor Eita, who is the head of research in the Faculty of Commerce and Administration, Professor Eita. Mr. Musigari, the senior lecturer of economics in the Faculty of Commerce. We have Mr. Tutu, who is the former council member of the Commerce Student Council and also the former president of the CSRC of our campus. And we have our very own Natasha Sissin, who is and for record purposes, I will kindly ask one speaker from each team to introduce the team so that the judges can have it clear when they are doing their teams. Kindly, the first speakers, will you kindly introduce your team and yourself, please?
I'm Lindy Sabupai, the first speaker, and the second one is Zinizi Mwabe. And then the third one is Busmus Mazibugo. The fourth one is Kauhelo Shotlongwane. And the fifth one is Ohamukhetu Mushwezi. Then the last one is Mavuso
Monele. I am Jeanette Mosita, the first speaker. Our second speaker is Tauni Sanyani. The third speaker is Rikantoni Direze. Our fourth speaker is Oratile Shole. And the last one is Naledi Mokwenga.
Thank you very much. As it's getting heated now, we are now going to the real issues. The judges have just drawn my attention to something. The judges are appealing that when you come here to present, please start by saying your name. Please. So we are now going to the affirming team again. 5 to 10 minutes, we now get into the real issues. Then we go back to the opposing team just like that. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, to my judges, the timekeepers, the adjudicators, the spectators, the audience, and everyone in the house at large, I pass my greetings. My name is Celine Mwama, and I'll be the second speaker of the affirmative side from the Faculty of Education. Once more, before I can start and cut the cake and serve everyone, I'll start to go back to my opponent here, who was the first speaker from the Faculty of FAST. You said, and I quote, "We are not opposing the transformation," which simply means she agrees that the transformation will take place and it will come of good use. Instead, she is against the model. It's fine. I guess we are all on the same team here that decided to join the Faculty of Education. It makes sense. Ladies and gentlemen, let me go deep into my slides and tell you what I am intending. To start with, I'm going to outline the topic once more. Is the one team, one faculty model a relevant step towards transformation in our institution? When we talk about this institution, we have to understand that we've got different campuses, which is one, the Potchefstroom campus, two, the Val Triangle campus, and the last one, which is the Mafikeng campus. Now, all these three campuses put together, they form our institution, which is the Northwest University. Now, when we talk about this transformation, we are referring to all these companies, the campuses together. Now, when we say, myself and my team, when we agree saying this transformation model is indeed relevant and it will bring about good change and transformation to our institution, we mean, one, in terms of the management, if we have one team, one faculty, it means that whatever that is happening in Potchefstroom, whatever that is happening in Val Triangle campus, and whatever that is happening in Mafikeng will be under one person. That person will be the umbrella of all the campuses. For an example, let's take a teacher. If you're a teacher, you know that in your class, you've got learners who are not the same. They've got different learning styles and they do not understand the same. In that manner, you always try to accommodate all of them. And at the end of the day, your objective is to ensure that each and every learner benefits from whatever that you'll be teaching and they understand it fully, which at the end of the day results to growth in the whole of the classroom and the school as a whole. Now, in this manner, we're talking about our management in terms of the allocation of resources. When you come to the allocation of resources here, we have to take note of the equity and the equality that we have among the campuses. Professor Wadi stated that there are different campuses and they are in different geographical areas. One, it is in rural areas, which is the Mafikeng campus. Two, it is in semi-rural, which is the Val Triangle. And the last one is Potchefstroom, and it is in the urban geographical area. Now, when you look at this campus, you realize that the development among them and the allocation of resources is totally different. Now, when we talk about this transformation amongst all the institution as a whole, we're trying to balance all of them. We are aware that they are not the same. We are aware that others are disadvantaged. Now, what we're trying to do, we're trying to put them all together and lift them to the same standard because at the end of the day, they are one thing, or rather, they fall under the same umbrella. Now, in the allocation of resources, one, they have to be sufficient. Now, if you've got one team allocating resources for all these campuses, At the end of the day, in the transformation statement, it is stated that we are fighting and struggling to be a university of academic excellence and to be recognized internationally. Now, if the one dean that we have also has that in mind, that we want to be recognized internationally and we want to be a university of very good excellence when it comes to our academics, they will strive by all means and try and make sure that all our faculties and our campuses, they have the same resources and they are all boosted and they are pulling towards the same direction. That means that we will not have any campus, we will not have any faculty that says we are short of certain resources, yet the others has them. Now, putting in your eyes the issue of equality and equity, you have to take note. When we talk about equality, it means I am testing 14-year-olds with questions that are relevant to 14-year-olds. But in this case, it is different, and we're not talking about equality. Take note. We're talking about equity, whereby we say we are aware that this one is older, this one is in the middle, and the other one is shorter. So what we're trying to do, we're trying to give steps to the shorter ones so that they are able to grow and be in the same line with the ones that are up there. Now, moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the development of the campuses in terms of the curriculum as well. We want to ensure that with the transformation that we have ahead, we want to ensure that everything that is taught in Potchefstroom, everything that is taught in Beltran campus is also taught here in the Mafikeng campus, because we want that at the end of the day, whatever qualification that you're studying for, whether it be law, whether it be teaching, whether it be agriculture, or whatever that you're studying for, at the end of the day, when you leave this campus, you should not say, I graduated from the Northwest University Mafikeng campus. Instead, it should be the Northwest University and final. That is the unitary that we're talking about in this case. Secondly, we have to ensure that we have our administration in place. Yes.
According to your understanding, would you say a model for transformation is transformation itself?
I'll take that, thank you. And I quote, my speaker said, I'll read it for you. You said, you are not opposing the transformation, which simply means, according to my understanding, take note, whatever that you say is what you say. How I interpret it is my issue. Now, this was my interpretation. This was my interpretation, that you say you agree with this, with the transformation, that it will surely bring good news to the university. Now, answering your question, yes, I am saying that the model, maybe to me the model does not matter, which is correct, but if it does to you, it is fine. We are focusing on what is going to happen in the campus. Because you mentioned a model according to a certain dictionary in the world, it doesn't mean here we're talking about a dictionary. We're talking about our current situation. If I may continue, ladies and gentlemen, then again, we're talking about the issue of the administration. When you look at our administration, we're not on the same level, we're not alike. When you look at the Potchefstroom campus, they register in the middle of the month of January. But you come to Mafikeng campus, you find that students start registering middle of the month and their classes start at the beginning of January, which is not the same as what happens in the other campuses. So if we're trying to do away with that, we have to take the transformation and put it in place. In that manner, we will have our bursary funders responding in time, because they will be managed by one person. So you cannot have the faculty of education responding to 5 students and later on responding to 50. Instead, they will be forced to do so at the same time, which at the end of the day will align that whatever that is happening on the other side is also happening on the other side. Ladies and gentlemen, moving forward, we have to take note again of the issue of in the campuses. Take note that we have different structures, we have different teams. Now these teams, if you take note, as they are different, as they are separated, they are working individually. Each one is pulling to their own direction. Now we're trying to do away with that and we're trying to bring them together as a form of saying we are united and we are one university and we are working towards one objective. In that, ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave it to my third speaker, Mr. Mazubo, to elaborate more on what I've just said, or rather give you more information other than what I've just given you. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mafikeng from the Faculty of Agriculture, Science and Technology. Firstly, a dean's position is a highly responsible one, requiring full-time attention. A dean ensures the well-being of the students and staff. Also, the dean creates and maintains effective communication between the students. These are just some of the many duties of a dean. Imagine one dean overseeing all three campuses. They will be expected to do all within all three campuses. This would just be too much workload for the dean. Staff and the students at large will suffer. If the dean is at a particular campus,
You just said that the position of the dean is the one the one that is responsible for the function of the faculty. Now, can you please answer my question as to what is the role of the deputy dean and the director of the faculty if you say that all the pressure goes to the dean?
the dean oversees all this, and the deputy would assist the dean. Ladies and gentlemen, as I was saying, this would be just too much workload for the team. Students and staff at large would suffer. Imagine a dean at a particular campus on a certain day. What if they are urgently needed or at another campus? What will happen? This one team, one faculty model would negatively affect the students. Secondly, ladies and gentlemen, no transformation occurs at once. It takes time for transformation to occur. As my first speaker has already said, our university emerged in 2004, and little transformation has occurred between now and then. Imagine if we could have one team, one faculty. It will take time for things to settle down. For one team, one faculty to take place, it would require the three campuses to have same resources and same standards. And this would require money. Where would we get the money, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, our admin block has been burned for like
forward to the next part of our debate. We are going to call the speakers from each team who is now going to criticize. Thank you. 5 to 10 minutes. Before you come, may I kindly remind the floor that whilst they are presenting, you can take questions down. We are going to open the floor for questions. Thank you. Okay, I'm reminded that transport for off-campus students is organized. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, house at large, the adjudicators, my antagonists, and the audience. My name is Musumuzi Mazibuko, and I would like to start with my rebuttals on a reversed chronology, and then begin with the last one to leave the podium now. And I quote, "The dean has a highly overseeing duty which is so strenuous to him or her." And I'd like to pose this rhetorical question. I don't need an answer to this. Doesn't the duty of the president exceeds that of the dean, and the president manages? The reason why the antagonist said that the dean is having a highly time-intensive duty, it is because of they do not realize that there are what we call deputies. There is what we call assistants, which are there on the right hand and on the left hand of the one overseeing the duty. And then with that, I'd like to know what they said, null and void. And then the first speaker talked of a model from her own dictionary. Because the reason being, right now we are living in a postmodern world where nothing is subjective, where nothing is absolute. And she came with her own absolute definition to take points into her pocket, which we are not going to allow. The model is a tool. The model is a tool, and then when we come in with one dean, one faculty, we are actually saying, this is a tool. Look, this is a tool we can use toward transformation. This is a tool we can use to transform our institution. And note, our institution. This we are owning, we possess this, it is our institution, and there are no fragmentations of campuses. And then again, she talked of a model as an example to follow, which is right. We are coming with one dean, one faculty as an example to follow toward transformation. And this is what we are standing for, transformation of the institution and not of the campus on its own. And then again, the first speaker talks of something like, we have been waiting for a long time. I mean, the strategy or the model of one team, one faculty is a sub-strategy under the great umbrella. And the great umbrella is a strategic plan developed to transform the university as a whole. So the one team, one faculty model is a sub-model under the bigger umbrella, which is the model of transformation of the institution as a whole. And I'd like to lay the foundation before I go to my conclusions. And I quote from the transformation statement. It says, and I quote, "To transform and position the Northwest University as a unitary institution and of superior academic excellence with a commitment to social justice." And then as I said, I think I need to reiterate this thing. The model of one dean, one faculty is a sub-model under a greater umbrella, which is there to transform the whole university. And then maybe let's just advise our antagonists that before the model of transformation of unitary came into being, there was a model called federal model, which was there, which catered to campuses fragmentally, on their own, individually. But now we've moved from the federal strategy, from the federal model towards the unitary strategy, the unitary model, which caters for the institution as a whole. And the one dean, one faculty strategy or model is there to make sure that we reach this transformation within our campuses and ultimately in our institution. And please note, the strategy is not about transformation towards degradation, which is a paradox, but it is about climbing a high step towards uniformity and unison within the campuses and within the institution as a whole. And central to this strategy of unitary and equity, as my previous speaker just spoke about right now, it is this fact: the one dean, one faculty will facilitate equity of provision and equity of student experience. The one dean, one faculty will facilitate equity of provision of resources and of student experience. Equity of provision, this is what we're referring to when we're talking of equity of provision. This is what we're referring to. We're referring to quality of a degree which is gotten from each of the faculties, which will result from a degree which has been procured from the institution as a whole and not from a campus. Therefore, when we talk of equity of provision, we're saying there's going to be quality of a degree which the one dean, one faculty model will make sure that there is such a thing as quality of degree from the different campuses. And then again, the model of one dean, one faculty will ensure accountability of quality within the campuses. If we have one dean, one faculty in the whole institution, there's going to be accountability of quality within the institution as a whole, because we've been claiming we are an institution, but without one dean, one faculty, that is not going to happen, because there won't be any accountability that is pointed, that is due toward one person, which she claimed it was an overseer, and she's right, it's an overseer. And then again, without our one dean, one faculty model, maybe our antagonists are not aware of this. There have been some criticism towards the institution, that the degrees from the institution are not the same. There are discrepancies within the degrees. And that criticism, we cannot take it unless we have only one dean who is going to make sure that there is assurance of quality within the degrees. Therefore, if we have one dean, one faculty, we're going to make sure there's going to be an assurance that the degree is one, and it is on the same level. And then again, the issue of one dean, one faculty, we're going to make sure that we utilize the issue of human resource. And what do I mean by human resource? If there is only one dean who is responsible for all these campuses, obviously the institution as a whole, by human resource we are referring to this. The dean is going to be able to spot the strong points, for example, of a certain lecturer, and then that lecturer can be delegated towards certain points where she has to stress and make the students understand certain points. Because if we do not have one dean, one faculty, the deans cannot compromise their lecturers as human resources. But having one dean, one faculty, there's going to be an assurance that the human resource is utilized, entertained. Okay, this thing is simple. As I said, we're talking of one dean, one faculty, and then borrowing a word from your partner, she talked of an overseer. And then by overseer, we're not saying that one dean will go into all the campuses extraneously looking for one lecturer who can do that job. Not at all. There is going to be assistants and deputies who are going to submit to the overseer, as your partner is alluded. Thank you. The other advantage of the strategy is to ensure program alignment across the campuses. There is going to be alignment of the programs amongst the campuses, and then this is what we are looking for as the institution, aren't we? One can transfer. Another advantage, which is so important to us, students are given what we call student mobility in the institution. A student can move from one campus to the other campus, and then as we said, it's a modeling. It's an example we are following. We are going towards this. And then as we said, we are making sure that the student will move from one campus to the other campus because of it is allowed. There is one dean, one faculty. The programs are aligned. There won't be any discrepancy of the curriculum. And then at the end, as I close, a student belongs to the Northwest University institution. and the campuses are sites of delivery. Thank you.
Good evening. I am Direte Canzone from the Faculty of Agriculture, Science and Technology. I hope you can all hear me right now. Thank you. Now, I would definitely like to start with the first speaker who talked about the Denkwadi words from last year's meeting that was held on the 4th of May. Are you aware, who was she? Are you well aware that the very same Professor Denkwadi stated that who wants to work here, especially now that the Mafikeng campus is obviously in the rural area, like your second speaker already stated. Okay, let's continue with the second speaker, who was always emphasizing Potchefstroom campus when she named the campuses. Like Potchefstroom campus first, Mafikeng campus second, and then the Val campus large. And then to the third speaker, are we going to be hiding under the shadow of the Potchefstroom campus since we all understand its glory in the whole of South Africa as it is? I mean, each and everyone who applies for a university in the Northwest University, which campus do they prepare? Now, consideration of and referring to the video that was released on the internet, a press conference held by Professor Denkwadi in Sandton earlier on this year. He said something like, when this model for one-day-one faculty is going to be held, we are going to be reducing the campus into 8 faculties. Now let me take you to a tour. We have 15 faculties in our university as it is. 15. Now tell me this. We have law in Mafikeng. Don't they have it in Potch? We have education in Mafikeng. Don't they have it? We have HSS and you study psychology and social studies. They do have it in Potch. We have agriculture, which they don't, but they all have all sorts of sciences, biological, technology, and so forth. We also have law, and they do have it, don't they? Exactly. Now, in the fall campus, you have like 2 only faculties, whereby you have economics and management studies, and then you have humanities. Now, take note. What if it is possible that the very same Professor Hadi takes all those faculties right here in the Mafikeng campus, puts them under Potch, as you know its glory in the whole of South Africa?
I understand that this topic is so emotional feeling, and I know that most of us, some of us, there is apparently, the prejudice against the BC. But I want to bring it to the attention of the antagonist that this topic is not about the BC, it's about the institution, the transformation of the institution. So reference to the BC is irrelevant, it's not important.
Well, with consideration of the very same antagonist, my affirmative side here, I want to remind you of something. I hope you were there at the reopening of the campus this year, and you were also present probably in the meeting that was held with the VC last year in the very same 4th of May. The VC said something like, when you go to the Mafikeng campus, we have students very reliant on the NSFAS. I am one of them as well. We have students who do not provide their own funding for the tuition and everything. And earlier on, again this year, the very same Professor Denkwadi couldn't stop mentioning our poverty more than our average enemy would. How poor we are, and then all things of that nature. Well, like you said, it has nothing to do with emotions or anything. So yeah. Fine. Now, as I have said, all the faculties in the 2 campuses, the Mafikeng campus and the Val campus, are obviously, and I tell you definitely, they are going to be in the Potchefstroom campus, and the Veterans Club campus or something like that, faculty don't. Crisis and study Africans. Now, we also have to think about the new dean who's going to be selected. We have to think about the new dean who is selected. Who is going to be the dean? I mean, we already have 15 faculties and all of them have deans, don't they? So now if you say you have one dean, one faculty, obviously you mean, as Professor Dongkwai suggested, we'll be having 8 faculties. You're definitely going to kill all of the faculties and then take all the deans and then probably make them assistant deans to the major dean who's going to be having overseeing over all the campuses. Now, as you have already said about equity, both the second speaker and the third speaker talked about equity of resources in the campuses throughout and distribution throughout campuses. Now, I want to take a very relevant duty and check the book titled The Heart of Mathematics. Well, in that book, it's not your everyday mathematical book that you would think of. It's just a general book that talks about mathematics in real applications. For example, they said this. When you have resources, let's say I have a cake, and then everyone wants a bigger portion than everyone. I mean, we all want to have a larger size, don't we? Yes. Now, considering all of that, we have come with the recommendations. Like we said, we're not against transformation of the university. Just that one faculty, one dean is just totally irrelevant. So we said, why don't these deans form a committee of deans, whereby, for example, each and every year, the deans sit together for all the relative courses. Like if you study financial accounting here and is there as well in Poch, the deans and the deputy deans, like we said, or the HODs for the departments in the faculties, sit together and then discuss the courses that are related to each other, such that you have same courses taught in exactly the same way, using same study guides and all material, setting same exams as well. So we also came with more solutions whereby we said improving infrastructure of the university is going to be very important, but where will the money come from? So if we actually are able to set this improvement of the infrastructure, it's going to benefit the whole institution in terms of attracting more students, because right now all the students who are applying just want to go to Arch for whatever reason. Thank you, Victor.
Thank you very much to our speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, in this evening, graced by the presence of the campus rector, in her busy schedule, she managed to make it to the debate. And Prof would like to say something. Just for 2 minutes, she's
You see, I'm a BPT, born before technology. I just came to say to you, I am very impressed with what you are doing. This is what academia is all about. When you see academics, you should see people who think independently, so who can discuss issues and argue and differ without getting emotionally involved. Your opinion, that's how theories were developed. It was out of all these kinds of interactions where you challenge each other, and where they want to test them, they will go to the labs and prove their points. So I'm very impressed with what I've been hearing. And I want to appeal to the student manager, the coordinator. Please let me know on time. How many are still coming? I need that schedule so that I can also fit myself in for me to attend. I realize I've missed a lot from you guys. By listening to the two previous speakers, I realized I even have my opinion, but I will not mess up your discussion. This brings us unto getting to a lesson where we also have emotional tolerance, where you can also argue on things without fighting each other. That's what is needed. And this leads to maturity, where we call intelligence, emotional intelligence, develops from here. Where your concept will not be destroyed because somebody is saying no. I heard that someone said, if I'm allowed to quote, yes, from the speakers, I shouldn't, because I'll mess up their judgment. I will join you in future. I will try by all means to join. This is very important. When we say we have a vibrant culture, vibrant academic culture, this is what we need. And to our academics who are here, thank you very much for mentoring our students. I really appreciate the work that you are doing. And to the SRC and everybody else, keep going. We can do better than this. And well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Campus Rector. We are proceeding with our debate. We are now going to call the last speakers from our teams, starting with the affiliate team.
Gentlemen.
Chairperson, timekeeper, our fellow debaters, salutations to the House of Lords. Ladies and gentlemen, before I proceed, I'd like to state what is stated in the transformation strategy document, which goes as follows: to transform and position the Northwest University as a unitary institution of superior academic excellence with commitment to social justice. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I can proceed, can I quickly deal with the opposition side? The first speaker came here and delivered his speech, claiming to say that transformation has been anticipated and we've been waiting for too long. Hence we have this document and hence we have this strategy which is going to ensure that transformation happens. Now, if you're saying we've been waiting for too long and we need transformation, actually I think you are agreeing with us, and I would voluntarily welcome you to the Faculty of Education as a whole. Which was last year, to 2025. Therefore, it gives us grace time in order for us to transform this institution, not campuses, institution. Ladies and gentlemen, they also mentioned something like the deans will be 100 kilometers away from the campuses. And as I arrived and asked a point of information which was failed to answer, we have the dean, we have the deputy dean, we have the director. Now, according to Professor Mali, as you guys want to quote him that much, he said that the dean can be at Mafikeng, the deputy dean can be at Val, and the director can be at Forge. It's not a matter of which campus is the dean situated at. It's a matter of managing the faculty. Now, the opposition came here and said that we're going to have a lot of faculties. We have the education in Mafikeng, we have the education in Forge. Yes, we understand. Hence, we are saying, let us have one dean in order for them to manage the whole faculty in all campuses. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what will this ensure? Like my first and second speaker stated, that it will ensure equity. And my third speaker came on and elaborated more, that these deans, directors, deputy deans, job market values a certificate or a degree from Port more valuable than a certificate or a degree that is found in Mafikeng. We are trying to eradicate that kind of behavior.
How is it just to take away the titles of the current deans?
I will mention, ladies and gentlemen, that the title of dean, we have 3 campuses. And we keep on emphasizing this. We can have the director, which can be situated in more. We can have the deputy dean, which can be situated in one. And then we can have the dean, which is situated in one. Now, I hope you understand. Okay. Now, the third speaker, I think, saying that we will be glorifying so much. I don't know, maybe you are confused. Let us be on the same page. Because we are not saying, when we have in this transformation document implemented, we are saying all these faculties will go to college. We are not saying that. We are saying that when this transformation strategy is implemented, there is going to be a tool used, which is one thing, one faculty. Therefore, we'll allow Mafikeng to still have their education faculty, still have their HSS faculty, still have their law faculty. However, being managed by one team. Now, what will also what will be encouraged in this tool? It will encourage what my second speaker stated, equal academic excellence. The curriculum will therefore be the same. The dean is the one in charge of seeing that the curriculum satisfies or is in good standards with all the students in that faculty. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we need to understand that when a paper is set, because I know you want to ask this question, but then when a paper is set, the lecturers might set it, and then we might have a moderator. However, the dean can be the one who oversees that the paper accommodates everyone in all 3 faculties, in all 3 campuses. Why will the dean ensure that the paper accommodates all? Because she is the one, or he is the one, can I finish my point? He or she is the one that ensures that allocation of resources are distributed in all 3 campuses. Therefore, it will ensure the dean to allocate enough resources to all 3 campuses, eradicating the kind of behavior which students have of saying Hodge has a lot of resources and Mafikeng doesn't. Yes. So, sir, what you're saying is that modules that are the same there and computers are in Hodge. The papers are not the same because we don't have the same years.
Basically, my third speaker has said currently we are using a federal system, which means that Hodge can manage themselves, Val can manage themselves, and Mafikeng can manage themselves. Now, we are trying to eradicate what's happening, what you just mentioned. Because currently, we are not trying to see. Now, what's happening here is that it goes to a point whereby the job market sees these degrees of students coming from the Northwest University not being the same. Say, for instance, Mafikeng student goes and applies at a law firm for employment, and the post students goes there. Let's clear this. They're going to take a post student. Now, this is the kind of
evening, everyone. All protocol observed. Sir, sorry, sir. Can you please help me with this? Make sure everyone can see this. Right. Throughout this debate, all of you guys have been talking about equality, equity. Right. With this, and we have been saying that we've been waiting for transformation for far too long. And with the logo itself, this is not equity. The red represents Potchefstroom, right? The blue represents Uniwest, which is Mafikeng, and the green represents VAR. Now, Potchefstroom here is being represented as the mother of all. Now, Mafikeng campus is being represented as the right hand man. And Val, right, is just 3/4 of the whole institution. If there was equity, I think there would have been 3 lines, which is red, green, and blue, which are upright and of the same length. That would be equity. Now, one faculty, it's only the roof of transformation, which comes to the managerial part of the institution as a whole. Now, we have to start with the ground floor, whereby we look at resource allocation and infrastructure. Right. Professor Denkwai said that, as we like to talk about Professor Denkwai, yes, he said that many lecturers do not want to come to Mafikeng, as well as everyone, including me, I didn't want to come to Mafikeng because of the way the place is. Not the people, but the way the place is. We come back to infrastructure-wise. Our residences compared to those of Val and Potchefstroom are quite like RDP comparing it to a house in Sandton. So, for us to talk about equity, we have to look at the ground floor. The infrastructure-wise has to be the same. What do you, is it one?
Point of information, dear antagonists. What is happening, we said this is a strategy. And then by virtue of us saying it is a strategy, we're saying we realize the discrepancies, first of all. By saying it is a strategy and a model, lending a word from one of my antagonist member, we're saying we're having a model which we are moving towards the goal that we are envisaging. And then the speaker is coming and saying, what is the mother of all? We're saying we realize that. That's why it's null and void. We realize that, and then we say we want to eradicate that. Number two, he said that. Okay, but I think I should make this thing clear. We're saying we realize the discrepancies, we realize that, but we're saying we are moving towards a transformation.
But, not a point. Can I have right. As I was saying that, one thing on faculty, it is the house. Not the house actually, the roof. But we have to start with the ground floor, which is infrastructure-wise. We must make sure that infrastructure-wise is the same for all the 3 campuses. If we have the same infrastructure, same residences, same offices of the same standard, and everything else, as well as resource allocation, we must have a microscopic unit here. If there's a microscopic unit in Potch, there must be a microscopic unit in Mafikeng as well as in VAR, so that all these 3 campuses can perform their researches to the optimum. Because if I want to do my research now, I have to go to Poch to have a microscopic unit. Whereas Mafikeng is an accredited university. We are also entitled to have a microscopic unit. So we must work by the rule of maths. What you do on the left-hand side, you must also do on the right-hand side first. So let's start with the ground floor, make the infrastructure right, then make our way to the top, whereby how can we manage these infrastructures, this whole change that we have brought to the 3 campuses. So you are talking about accessibility, that we are able to access Potchefstroom or Val can access Mafikeng. Right. You are talking about accessibility. I think it's only about a month back or 2 months back whereby our varsity was closed, and there are certain modules that are the same in Mafikeng as well as in Poch, like for accounting example and economics. So our students, students from Mafikeng campuses, their student cards were deactivated for them to enter into Poch campus. So what are you saying if you say that we are interconnected and there's accessibility? What accessibility are you talking about if we can access mere classes from one of our sister campuses? So with that in mind, I conclude by saying, one dean, one faculty, it's not good for transformation for now. So we as FAST, we are saying that let's start from the ground up, work our way up. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our speakers. We are now going to open for the floor. I'm going to take 2 sets of hands, 5 each, starting from. Okay, number 1, Tigamo, followed by my sister, 4, then the last one. Okay.
Oh, thanks. I hope I'm audible. I want to speak to the organizers. It's a new group. I think the organizers must not seek to divide students. Issue of transformation is a given. We should be discussing other things here. If you want to discuss academic issues, then it must be related to what the people in faculties are doing. Because we know what is happening here. Why don't you make it a symposium if it's an institutional thing, so that people can engage? How can you want to disagree with transformation? Transformation must be there. In fact, we must have one faculty for the whole university. Law must come here.
Think about it. There must be, yes, there must be a university for education only, John. One faculty for the whole institution. That's very right.
If you are saying to transform, then take that whole law faculty and bring it here because there's a high court here. All those white people must come here. But you can't have a situation whereby students in the campus are divided on issue of transformation. You must be discussing. If we are discussing academic issues, it's my view.
Look, come on.
I'm speaking to the organizer. Transformation issues. Do it in a way of a symposium. If you are discussing academic issues, do it in a way where students can relate. That is my view.
Because you said waiting for comments. Yes,
But I'm still speaking.
The DPS spoke there.
Let's assist the speaker. I'm calling a point of order. The speaker is out of order.
Thank you.
They say it's not whether students agree on transformation or not. It's on the model of the meeting that is going to be used for transformation.
I hereby surprise the speaker. Is that process?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Public Relations Officer. You know, I'm very disappointed and proud at the same time regarding the information delivered by our beloved debaters. First of all, Northwest University, the problem of it is not based on the implementation of the model or denial of the model. It is based on the allocation of the resources and lack of infrastructures. So, based on what is happening, the Northwest University Mafikeng campus has never on its nature had a leadership or having a leadership from the managerial level together from the CSRC level. That has the capacity to defend the Northwest University Mafikeng campus on its demand. We're going to take a practical example. Professor Dan Khwadi, the founder of that particular model, is from this very campus, who knew and continue to know our suffering as the university, but is there is trying to implement the particular model that is only going to focus from an academic level. He knows about the suffering of our students who continue to drop out year in, year out. He knows about the infrastructure of the university. For example, when I was doing the first year here, the CLB classes used to be a full to an extent where our students were sitting here. But they come with a strategy. That strategy, they did not build the new classes. They denied our students financial resources so that we can be limited in the classes. That is the particular thing they did. If there is a model the VC must come with, is the model that will pump the resources from Potchefstroom to Mafikeng campus. If it's the model that is progressive, that way the VC must come, is the model that will pump the resources from Potchefstroom to build a new infrastructure here. You must never tell us about the new dean faculty. Our faculty are running very smooth. We continue to have we continue to do well based on academic field. You saw the students were more of them graduated there. So we don't have a problem in terms of academic. We can read. We can, even though we are from rural areas, but in terms of reading, we are more excellent than students in Potchefstroom and what we need is an access to the university. It's a money to access the university.
Thank you for this opportunity. I'd like to go back to the topic at hand today.
Thank you.
My question goes to the affirmative team. Don't you guys think that one dean, one faculty will in a way promote the spirit of corruption? Don't you guys think that the separation of power would be in a way contradicted? And lastly, don't you guys think that there will be an over-concentration of power on the dean? Thank you.
My question is going to the opposing team. old free campus for so long, don't you think that we should come up with a new plan? Try something new in order to reach this transformation.
My question exactly will go to this teachers. May we please be orderly? Order. May we please be orderly? Speaker, please give your way. I have listened to you very well. You have said a lot of things. Nah. But my question exists here. That shows me that you are an undergraduate student.
Cut this guy out.
Who told you that when you graduate at the institution of the Northwest University? Nah, it is written a campus you graduated from. Who told you that when you graduate from Northwest University, it is written a campus that you have graduated from.
Let us allow our academic team to maybe comment on this point. I understand the first speaker was speaking for something else now. The second speaker also. Please, someone from your side, please come and comment.
Ladies and gentlemen, once more. To start with, before I respond, I'll respond to you, sir, at the back about the issue of the allocation of resources. But before I do that, let me attend my last speaker from my opponents right here. You said, and I quote, students from Mafikeng campus, the student cards were deactivated and they were not allowed to go to the other campuses, which is true. But after the whole thing, they were activated again. And reason behind the deactivation of the student cards, you have to know, if we were to take this class and drive it or take it to Port or rather to the Val Triangle
sit down.
Move down to Potter's Room or to Box Triangle. Where were they going to be accommodated? I'll pass. Now, the allocation of resources, talking about that issue, we have to take into consideration that, one, if we have one dean accommodating all the 3 campuses, that dean will have to be the one who accounts for everything that happens. If we write a report from the Northwest Mafikeng campus and say, we are running short of resources such as 1, 2, and 3, that person will have a lot of pressure on them and their cabinet. As to say, these people are complaining about these issues. And if these campuses have them, therefore it means they also have to be accommodated, because we promised and we said we are moving towards better transformations, and we are trying to make sure that everyone is on the same page, whether it be academically, infrastructures and everything. They are all trying to do that. Again, another thing, you said we have to start from the ground, from the infrastructure itself. Now, we have to take note that this transformation statement, it was implemented, actually it was proposed last year, which was 2015. And now, the duration period, if you check it, it is between the year 2015 and 2025. That means, for now, you cannot expect to see dramatical changes. You have to take into consideration that these things want money, but 2, they need time, and resources cannot be made in an instant, or decisions cannot be made overnight. So this is a process, and with that, I hope you all answered. Thank you.
But I'm the one who
I was done answering the question by the lady here who said we want to try something new. Well, don't you think so you think that the one thing, one faculty has to be the actual something new that we have to try out? Well, let me tell you what I think the something new that we have to try out should be. Infrastructure improvement, like we have just said. For example, our law faculty is reportedly one of the best in South Africa, isn't it? But take note, they do not have a law building where they can do their work there. Their law clinic, I hope, is... Let's not talk about it. Another example, our first faculty just gave the graduation ceremony a few weeks ago, or a week ago. You saw that the first faculty more or less produced the most PhDs, I think. About 9. But yet still the average laboratory in the science building is utterly horrible. So if we say one thing one faculty has to go on, it's not going to work out. It's exactly the roof, like he has already said. Why not we start with the infrastructure improvement, technology advancement, like the education faculty has already been given new facilities for technological devices and so forth, as stated in the album, if you have read it. Yes. Now, as the lady in the affirmative side has already said, don't we think that the classes will be overpopulated if we get out of here and then all of us go to Bosch to get good resources for education? Now, if we are actual one university, united, don't you think, would you just let your sister or brother suffer? Just like that. You have to sacrifice and you have to make compromises. Exactly. So it was definitely in their own capacity to lock us out of their campus, and then so that they do not align themselves with everything that I
said. I am now going to limit the hand. Okay, I'm going to take 5, the last set of hands. Next one, we'll go first. Yes. Maxwell, 2, 3, 4, and Celine. Thank you. I think that all.
Yeah, thanks, Jen. Honorable Chairman. I actually have a tract of issues and I'm trying to minimize them as short as possible. But address a similar issue that we've been addressing. You know, we are speaking about people coming from other provinces. There's a sports village there, we could have accommodated them there. We could have had all of them seated. So that is not the issue of and I think there's a necessity for, before we can go any further, take people to watch it so that they see it. But before they speak about it, because of now people are speaking about something they've seen in newspaper. But the question here is not about what faith is, what Mafikeng campus is, but the issue is the new model being a relevant tool towards transformation. And I think we must also start by saying that what does transformation mean to the person, to the next person? And to me, I think I was, glad when people defined transformation and actually mentioned the word radical. And when we speak about radical transformation, we're speaking about a very, very strong process that has to take place, and it must be some point practical. And you can't want to deny the fact that Poch amongst all these campuses is dominated because of even the institutional offices there. Everything happens there. But we're not speaking about the big campus, we're speaking about the model. The model, I do not think that is a progressive vehicle towards transformation. Why am I saying this? Because of it fails dismal to speak about the structure of the student governance itself, or just how is it going to be structured. And we are saying as students, nothing about us without us. We cannot speak about the model that does not speak about students because of who are the first stakeholders of this particular institution, and therefore we discredit it. And the other issue is that the same model does not give space for us to interrogate the statutes. Now, the statutes are the ones that are going to determine what we've been speaking about, management, rules, the deals, the what. It is in that particular statute that actually tells you who must sit in the Senate and who must take this particular decision. The fact of who's going to manage what is what, that thing is not really a matter. The question is, how can we then be granted an opportunity so that we can be able to interrogate the same statute that speaks on our day-to-day challenges? Because of those will then give back to the solutions that we're confronted with, the issues of having sufficient resources and us having poor resources. We don't even have a parking lot for that matter, but we don't need it for now. We need sufficient resources. Now, what also the model fails to address is the issue of understanding that we as an institution have always continuously claimed that we are suffering from finances. But now you look into the structure of the model itself, it speaks about people roaming around. I mean, I'm not really clued about issues of human resource, but I know that for you to be able to plan, monitor, and evaluate, you must be able to go into where actually the work is done. So it means that if you're a dean of education and you're placed in work, it means there was a point that at some point you must always ensure that time to time you come to Mafikeng and go to evaluate and see that the work is done and the fundamental objectives of the institutions are met. And how are you going to do that when you claim that you do not have finances, but you're going to use the same money of the organization to help us enter like a helpless child? It cannot be because of it's going to lead us to the same deficits that we're always confronted with, which are making us to fail to rebuild that particular bend down into so in closure, without in closure, you must make peace. You must make peace of the fact that transformation does not mean the same thing to us. Because to me, when we speak of transformation, I'm saying we must critically go to the issue of racism, and we should also speak concisely on the issue of transformation. So do us a favor next time that when we speak of transformation, define it in a manner that is so inclusive to everybody and is able to address our issues. And I'm saying this particular model, even though politically or otherwise may agree with, but I'm saying that this is just a small screen to legitimize looting and corruption that continues to happen in this institution.
Thank you, Maxwell. We have to get speaking. Sorry, you were not recognized. I recognized you. You raised that you were not recognized. I recognized you. 1, 2. I remember.
My name is and I'll start by welcoming the presentation given by our debaters very well. But I'd like to believe that they are unnecessarily being exhausted on the same topic. Because what it intends to address is actually what is not the burning issue in our institution. The burning issue rather should be, we should look at the scale of these faculties that we're talking about. When you look at for example, the Potchefstroom campus with 8 faculties, look at Mafikeng campus that has 5 faculties, and then you look at the Val campus with 2 faculties. If you want to make them inside, they wouldn't be. Even if you can add Val campus with the Mafikeng campus faculties, it still wouldn't be. They would still not go. What problem to say is that the Potchefstroom campus needs to shed some of the faculties that it has. Spread them to campuses so that basically what we have is a faculty that is necessary. Say for instance, Popola here wants to register for an engineering degree. And at Potchefstroom campus, they are excluding you because of the capacity that they can take or because of the language policy that is there. What we're saying is that for us to have an inclusive institution, all these campuses need to recognize an equal system of these faculties in order for them to can accommodate all of us. And
What's up, Jay? The same thing I was saying.
May we please move to the next speaker? It seems as if you're not about to speak there. Please proceed there. Please proceed. Please proceed. Please proceed, sir.
Salutation to the House at large, and also, I think it is also very much important that when we talk about issues concerning transformation on our campus, I think it is also very much imperative that we understand some of where our institutions come from. And the reason I'm saying this is because of, you must remember that the Northwest University, particularly looking at the Mafikeng campus, it was formed in the early 1960s and in the late 1970s. So it is very much imperative, ladies and gentlemen, that always when we emphasize this issue of transformation, we look at the history behind all these campuses that we have, being Mafikeng campus, Potchefstroom, and also the Val campus. Because we all understand, and I guess most of us knows that the Northwest University Mafikeng campus, which was formed under the Putatswana, we all understand that it was an initiative that was formed by the people who were residing in Putatswana by then, and they raised the sum of 100,000 to make sure that they have their own university in their own homeland. So it is very much imperative, ladies and gentlemen, that we look at the history of these campuses. So, when we look at in 2004, we would remember that the Department of Higher Education, ladies and gentlemen, they came up with what is being referred to as what the Department of Higher Education's Measure Fund. That's where now the Department of Higher Education came with a methodology that will transform all the what I'm trying to emphasize here, ladies and gentlemen, that the one thing that we must look at, that I'm trying to emphasize, is when you talk about the distribution of the resources at all these universities, when you look at the issue of unity amongst the students in all these campuses, it is very much important that we also look at the history of our campuses at large, ladies and gentlemen. The other thing that I would like to elaborate on responsibility of all these campuses for them to be united or for them to have what we call equal or uniform distribution of resources. We're also going to look at the issue of that we look into the fact that it is very much imperative that I go back to what I said before, which is the history of the campuses that we have. So I would like to ask my question to the opposing team there. I heard when the first speaker was emphasizing on the issue of transformation. She mentioned that it is very much imperative, or it is very much important that we have other methods rather than transformation, before she noted the fact that they also do support transformation. So I would like to understand what exactly are some of those methods that you guys are supporting in order for all these universities to have uniform distribution of resources and everything. And the other thing noting on what you guys are just saying, I'm wrapping up this, ladies and gentlemen. The other thing that I was very disappointed on, some few days ago, I was also on the website of the Mail Guardian. So there is a certain column where there is a certain column of a newspaper, remember, where they will be looking at classified job opportunities and everything. So they noted the fact that there was a certain law firm in Sentin, whereby they indicated to say that they need a student from the Porsche campus. So those are some of the things that we have to look at, ladies and gentlemen. So I would like to ask you guys for what exactly are some of the methodologies or the method that you guys think should be implemented rather than transformation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Maybe sometime, maybe going forward, you need to actually clarify to the audience when you open up questions in what they actually need to ask. Because there's a problem of people coming to entertain their personal battles. But whenever they leave these premises, they forget about all of these things. So let us not elongate this talk and just hit to the point. I have 3 questions to the negative team. Firstly, you guys are showing a lack of research in the topic, because you are talking of the strategy in such a way that it is actually happening. Hence, it is called a strategy, because you gave definitions and you didn't look at a definition. A strategy is actually a plan of action that is going to be taken. So our university is actually planning on moving with that strategy. It is not actually happening. So when I saw the little circus that you pulled with the logos and whatnot, yes, it is good and well. But if you listen to your favorite source, Prof. Quad, he says in the transformation strategy, there will be a need of rebranding the university. So that is where the logo issue will actually come, not now. So you are rushing 10 steps ahead. Secondly and lastly, you talked about a dean's job to oversee campus, to oversee the faculty. If the dean's job is to oversee a certain faculty, why is it becoming strenuous for us to have one dean in the entire university? Secondly, many other universities in the country are actually using the one dean, one faculty type of a model. Have you guys actually went into researching on why are these universities succeeding in this type of one dean, one faculty? Thank you very much.
But then, thing is, transformation, all that it requires. For the mere fact that we are discussing a model, it shows that we are running away from this from transformation. I like to align myself with my comrades. I'm not sure, even if we are going towards that HSS versus law debate, then I'm still going to something. Okay, but then anyway, that's not the issue. That's not the issue.
This is bad, we forgot.
That's not the issue. Then. For the mere fact that we are discussing models of transformation shows that we don't want to transform. Because all that transformation seeks is for you to be a friend with your own consciousness. Because for example, I can pose with my friend Johan. I can take a picture and selfie with Johan over there. But then that still doesn't stop Johan from calling me a gaffer at his dinner table with his family. It's an example. Don't be emotional over an example.
Order good one is an example.
Yeah, thank you very much. And again, we must be very careful about the exercises that we do on campus. You know, again, we have staff members over here. So, in the presence of staff members, you'll be saying that, no, discussing the models and everything, and then you'll be coming up with your very intellectual, beautiful intellectual property. And then the next thing you see it in the transformation agenda, it brings on some glossy pages, Northwest University Mafikeng campus, saying these are the reasons, what. I'm saying we must be careful. We must be careful of this futile, to me, to these futile exercises, because you'd be motivating your way towards, like, for example, I've heard during the course of the debate, and this model is already being in place, whereby the offices, I had my comrade over there speaking about the location of the necessary infrastructure that will accommodate the models. I get it. So a model, infrastructure, it does not determine transformation, because little roads, you can set all the most comfortable chairs, but then if there's a fellow student then next to then that's not really addressing transformation. And then again, just carefully, this school, I'm bringing awareness, because I'm an activist and I cannot, always run away from my kids. This school fired a transformational advisor. And he was alone, supporting she was alone, it was a woman. She was alone, supporting the single woman there. She was alone. And whenever we called meetings, generally a sexual minorities advocacy, whenever we called the meeting, she was there situated at watch. She would come, and when she comes, she made sure that you eat. She'd say, go to the cafeteria and order food. Tell them that the transformation advisor says to do. And that's what we did. And that's being a friend with your own consciousness. And that's why she was fired. So, it's funny. It's funny how the institution wants to jump to this model in such a short space of time. But then when we really want to discuss issues of transformation, they talk about Vision 2020. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Before we have the judge meeting, I would like to run quickly the rule of things. Okay. 2 minutes.
We are not looking for responses. We shouldn't, in the first place, allow the questions to come. So I think we should have stated that at the beginning that there are no questions because there won't be answers.
Why ask questions if there are no answers?
Okay, as I said in the beginning, this thing, we know that it is so emotional to most of us, and that we're not coming here with emotions in the first place. We're coming here to deal with facts and deal with strategies that will take us far as an institution. First of all, the guy who asked the question has left, so I want to respond to that. So I'm going to just respond to the guy who's sitting right on my left. Yeah, so thanks, man. And the lady at the back there. First of all, I think you must realize that you graduate on the subsequent year. So after you finish your degree, after maybe you're finishing this year, you don't get your certificate, but you go get a job through a transcript that has the campus name there. So you better be out. Number two, the lady at the back, I think her statement is subjective and it is not right. Because of she's saying model does not look for transformation, which is not true. How can you go to transformation without strategizing first? So that is why we're having a model and a strategy towards transformation. You cannot have transformation without strategy, without plan. You can't go barehanded towards transformation. Thank you.
All right. Okay, let me answer the gentleman right there first. So the problem with you is that you don't listen. I said, one thing with faculty, it's a managerial issue. And that thing, it's only the roof. Okay? I'm not saying that thing, it's not going to happen and it should not happen. I'm saying it's good, but it's the roof. So we shouldn't start with the roof, but start on the ground floor. Start with that foundation, which is infrastructure. That answers your question, sir. Sir. That answers your question as well. What are the strategies that we are opposing, that we are proposing? Infrastructure-wise, if we have good infrastructure, if we have good resource allocation in all the 3 campuses, then that's when we can start about transport. And the thing he said, what you call, what's the word that he used? Well, I'll come to you, sir. Well, the logo stand we pulled there. We were substantiating the fact that we waited for transformation for far too long. And we are talking about deep branding. When will the deep branding come in? When will it come in? Because this has been for far too long. No, the transformation model is there.
We are just about to find out who is the winner for today. But before that, I believe there are snacks or what, I don't know. Okay, I would like to thank each and every one of you who made it here. Our academic affairs officers for organizing. These people invest a lot of time. Really thank you guys. Commerce faculty for hosting, thank you very much. And everyone who made it, thank you. To our judges, thank you very much. Natasha, you can come.
Okay, good evening. Can we just give them a round of applause for their debate? Okay, my name is Natasha Singh and I was one of the judges. This is a really crucial time in our lives, and it is such a time to be alive, especially within the borders of our campus. But one thing that I'd like to really point out in terms of the debates is that technically the judges, according to the judges, they believe that both teams were not respecting the rules of the debate and hence the rules of engagement. And I've been in talks with the National Board of Debating for high schools. And you find that the Northwest Province and the Northern Cape Province are provinces that never ever go to national level and make it, you understand, in terms of debates. So we are sitting at a disadvantage. And if I'm in talks with such bodies to actually have high schools within here compete, or am I missing something? if we are to bring such bodies within the Northwest, they need to be mentored from tertiary institutions such as these. Ne? So if we are not on point technically, what is it we are passing on to high school students? Because the job of the first speaker, first of all, is to introduce the topic, right? And also say, this is where we stand as the proposition, this is where we stand as the opposition, as well as explaining the jobs of the other team members. What the speaker does, it's almost like building a house. That's how the nature of debating is. You build a house, and what the first speaker does, they just lay the foundation. This is where we stand. What the second speaker of each team does is that they actually build the house with the facts. So the second speaker is an important part because they're building the actual house. Ne? And that is where stats needs to come in. From both the debating teams, you are just debating on opinions.